Eric Trump is vowing revenge against New York State Attorney General Letitia James. And as I've repeatedly said, which apparently this message is not getting through to any members of the Trump family, it's never a good idea to antagonize the individual who essentially holds your fate in their hands. Yet that is repeatedly what Donald Trump and his children have done with Letitia James. On Tuesday, Eric Trump took to Twitter to announce that on Thursday, he and his family are going to be launching a formal complaint in court against the Attorney General. Here's what he says. On Thursday, our team will be in front of a New York judge outlining the blatantly unethical behavior of Tish James, the New York Attorney General. There are 81 pages of videos, tweets, and fundraising solicitations, some as recent as 2 weeks ago, in our lawsuit for the judge to see. Now, the Trump family has long accused Letitia James of running a partisan investigation, specifically saying that she campaigned on taking Donald Trump down. Now, that's not an inaccurate statement. She has, in fact, in her campaign website, campaign materials, talked about taking on the Trump family. She has not talked about taking them down, she has talked about taking them on. And if we're going to get into the legal nuts and bolts of this, then yes, that linguistic distinction is in fact important. But here's the other problem that Donald Trump and his kids like Eric have. This investigation has already proven criminal activity, or at least enough to indict individuals, including the Trump Organization itself, for criminal activity. So even if this investigation was launched based purely on partisan interests, they still found evidence of potential criminal activity. So how can it be not a valid investigation when there's already results? Furthermore, they didn't launch the investigation to begin with. As we all know, this investigation began with the Manhattan District Attorney's Office and Cy Vance. They're the ones actually conducting the criminal investigation, which makes it even more weird that they're going after Letitia James because her department's investigation is purely civil. The worst they could lose out of that one is money. But apparently that's more important than losing their freedom. Otherwise, they'd be going after Cy Vance instead of Letitia James. Can't help but feel that there's a little bit of sexism playing into this as well. Again, because they're going after the woman on the civil investigation instead of the man for the criminal investigation. But let's assume for a second that a judge does determine that Letitia James did, of course, use this in her materials, ran on the campaign of taking on the Trump family, and they kick her off. Okay, investigation would still continue, just with a different lead. But let's say the judge decided to go one step further and ruled the entire investigation at the Attorney General's office totally invalid. That still does absolutely nothing about the fact that there is a criminal investigation going on in Manhattan. So no matter how this ends for the Trump family in court, and I think it's not going to end well for them, it doesn't matter in the grand scheme of things, because the criminal investigation is still chugging along, and that's the one they should probably be a little bit more concerned about. One of today's video sponsors is Magic Spoon cereal. If your New Year's resolution is to start eating healthier without having to sacrifice any taste, then Magic Spoon is perfect for you. They have the wonderful flavors that you've enjoyed since you were a child, but without any of the guilt. Magic Spoon has 0 grams of sugar, 13 to 14 grams of protein, and only 4 net grams of carbs in each serving. And there's only 140 calories per serving. It's keto-friendly, gluten-free, grain-free, soy-free, and low-carb. And you can build your own box. Available flavors to build your very own custom bundle are cocoa, fruity, frosted, peanut butter, blueberry, cinnamon, cookies and cream, and maple waffle. You can also mix and match the flavors when they arrive. I'm a big fan of actually mixing the cocoa with the frosted flavors because it tastes just like a chocolate cake, so it makes for a great late night snack. Go to magicspoon.com/ROF to grab a custom bundle of cereal and start your new year off right. And be sure to use our promo code ROF at checkout to save $5 off your order. And Magic Spoon is so confident in their product, it's backed with a 100% happiness guarantee. So if you don't like it for any reason, they'll refund your money, no questions asked. Remember, get your next delicious bowl of guilt-free cereal at magicspoon.com/ROF and use the code ROF to save $5.